My child, can you give me 1 minute? Just a little time, and I promise you won't regret it. Stop right here. Don't rush. Don't scroll. Don't slip away from this moment the way you have so many times before. I am stepping into your day, into your thoughts, into your atmosphere, because I need you to hear me. I need your heart to pause. I need your spirit to breathe. I need your attention, not because I demand it, but because something you have been praying for is closer than you realize. And if you move too quickly, if you get distracted again, if you push this off the way you have pushed off so many moments, you may miss what I placed in front of you. So I ask you again, gently but urgently, can you give me 1 minute? Just a little time. Not all of your day. Not your whole strength. Just this moment. Just this breath. Just this small space where the world loosens its grip on you long enough for you to feel me again. I know how often you've rushed past these moments. I know how many times you felt me tug at your heart and you said, later, maybe later. I know how many times you sensed something important and you brushed it aside because life felt too loud, too overwhelming, too heavy to stop and listen. I know how many times you convinced yourself you'd come back, and you never did. But this moment is different. You feel it, don't you? Something in you is softer right now, quieter, more open than usual. Something in you senses the weight of these words. Something in you recognizes that I am not far away, I am right here, drawing near, reaching for you in a way you cannot explain but cannot deny. This moment is not random. It is not accidental. I aligned it with your life because your heart has been drifting farther than you know, and I had to step in before something precious slipped from your hands. Your life has been so noisy lately. So many thoughts, so many worries, so many emotions swirling inside you that you haven't even had the space to hear yourself breathe. The world has been pulling at you from every direction, and you've been running on empty without even realizing how much of yourself you've been losing in the process. You have been tired, not just body tired, but soul tired. You have been overwhelmed, not just mentally, but spiritually. You have been carrying things you were never meant to carry alone. You have been fighting battles in silence, pretending you're okay, pretending you're strong, pretending the weight doesn't hurt you as deeply as it does. And because life has been so loud, you've missed my gentle voice. You've missed my signs. You've missed the soft nudges I placed along your path. Not because you didn't care, but because you were burdened. Not because you were ignoring me, but because your heart was tired. Not because you didn't love me, but because you've been surviving more than you've been living. And I saw it. I saw the tiredness in your eyes. I saw the heaviness in your steps. I saw the emotions you tried to hide from yourself. I saw the parts of you that you kept pushing down so no one would worry. That's why I'm here now. That's why my voice feels closer than usual. That's why your heart is reacting, even if you don't understand why yet. Because you've been praying for deep things, heavy things, secret things. Prayers you whispered through tears. Prayers you buried under your breath so no one else would hear. Prayers you didn't think were strong enough or good enough or worthy enough to reach heaven. But they did. Every single one of them reached me. I carried those prayers. I listened to them when you felt like no one else cared. I held them in my hands and lined up answers in ways you still cannot imagine. And now one of those answers, one of those breakthroughs, one of those moments you prayed for is finally approaching your life. But you must be awake for it. You must be present for it. You must be aligned enough to receive it. That's why I need your attention, not to control you, but to protect what I am sending to you. If you rush past this moment, if you skim through these words, if you distract yourself the way you always do when something begins to feel too deep or too real, you may miss the very thing you've been begging me to send. So let me hold you still for a moment. Let me hush the world around you. Let me quiet the noise inside you. Just for now. Just for this minute. Just for this breath where your soul softens enough to let me speak to you. I know how many times you've pushed away moments like this because you were afraid to feel too much. I know how many times you didn't want to confront your own hurt. I know how many times you pulled away because you didn't trust that good things could actually come to you. I know how many times you ran because running felt safer than hoping. I know how many times you skipped over my whisper because your heart didn't believe anything could change anymore. Comment, God is my safe refuge if you run to him when life is heavy. But my child, I never stopped coming for you. I never stopped drawing near. I never stopped reaching out. I never stopped loving you past your walls, past your fears, past your silence. You have been searching for peace, but walking with too much noise to notice when it comes. You have been searching for direction, but drowning in distractions that keep you confused. You have been searching for comfort, but surrounding yourself with things that numb you instead of heal you. You have been searching for me, but forgetting how to slow down long enough to hear me. So I came into your moment. I stepped into your day. I reached into your atmosphere. And I whispered, can you give me 1 minute? Just a little time, and I promise you won't regret it. Because this message holds something for you. Something tender. Something healing. Something you have needed for so long that your heart forgot how to ask for it properly. What you are reading right now is not just text on a screen. It is the exact moment heaven arranged. It is the moment I positioned in your life because your spirit is finally ready to hear me, ready to release something, ready to receive what I've been preparing behind the scenes. You may not understand everything yet. You may not feel ready. You may not know what is coming. But trust me, this moment matters. All I ask is this: give me your attention. Give me your heart. Give me your breath. Just for this moment. Just long enough for me to place something inside you that will shift your life. My child, let me tell you why I had to step into your moment like this. Why I reached into your day with a sudden pull that you could feel in your chest. Why these words found you at the exact second when your mind was wandering and your heart was tired. You have been overwhelmed for a long time, carrying weight that has been pressing against your spirit in ways you haven't fully admitted to yourself. You have been moving through your days with a heaviness sitting quietly on your shoulders, a heaviness you push down so you can function, a heaviness you hide behind laughter, behind routines, behind distractions, behind strength that drains you the moment you are alone. You have been mentally exhausted, trying to keep everything together while parts of your heart feel like they're slipping through your fingers. You've been spiritually silent, not because you don't believe in me, not because you don't want me, but because your spirit has been drowning in the noise of everything you've had to handle on your own. You have been drifting, my child, and you didn't even realize it. Drifting doesn't happen with loud warnings. It happens quietly, slowly, gently, one small compromise at a time, one skipped moment at a time, one ignored tug at a time. It happens when life gets too loud, when your emotions get too heavy, when your thoughts get too crowded. You drifted not because you were running from me, but because you were surviving more than you were living. You drifted because you were tired. You drifted because your heart has been bruised from too many hits. You drifted because you've been waiting for someone to finally see how much you've been carrying, and you grew used to the silence around you. But I saw it. I saw your spirit getting quieter. I saw your hope growing thin. I saw you slowly losing connection to the parts of you that once felt alive. I saw you slipping into numbness, and I could not allow you to disappear inside that numbness without reaching for you. You have been carrying burdens alone that were never meant to be carried without my help. You tried to hold everything together because you didn't want to bother anyone. You told yourself you were strong enough, even when you felt like collapsing inside. You pushed through pain by ignoring it. You moved through grief by burying it. You walked through loneliness by pretending you didn't feel it. You didn't want to fall apart, so you didn't allow yourself to feel anything too deeply. You didn't want to break, so you tightened your heart until even joy had trouble getting in. You carried emotional wounds without treating them. You carried exhaustion without resting from it. You carried heartbreak without healing from it. You carried responsibilities that weighed down your soul until you forgot what it felt like to breathe without pressure. To survive, you numbed yourself. You silenced your own needs so you wouldn't feel like you were falling behind. You distracted yourself so you wouldn't have to deal with the ache in your chest. You stayed busy so you wouldn't have to think. You kept moving even when you were breaking. You told yourself you were fine even when the truth was that you were slipping deeper into a place where you couldn't feel me clearly. You weren't rejecting me, you were protecting yourself in the only way you knew how. You weren't running, I watched you quietly trying to keep your heart from shattering. I know why you shut down emotionally. I know why you closed parts of your heart. I know why you stopped expecting much. I know why you kept telling yourself not to feel, not to hope, not to trust, not to get hurt again. You thought numbness would save you from pain, but numbness was stealing your ability to receive the blessing coming toward you. Please support our channel. Our mission is to bring joy, peace, and devotion to God into your life. If you wish, you can show your support and encouragement by donating through Super Thanks. And that, my child, is why I had to stop you. That is why my voice feels stronger than usual. That is why this moment feels heavy, intentional, unmistakable. You were slipping into a kind of silence that would have blinded you to the answer you've been praying for. You were sinking into a tiredness that could have caused you to overlook everything heaven has been preparing. You were drifting into a numbness that would make you unable to recognize the opportunities I've placed in your path. You were sinking into emotional survival mode at the exact moment when a breakthrough is approaching. And because I saw how close the blessing was, I could not allow you to drift away from it. I had to intervene. I had to reach into your day in a way that you would feel, in a way that would make you pause, in a way that would pull your heart back from the edges of exhaustion. You were so close to missing something that has your name on it, something I prepared long before you knew you needed it, something that will restore parts of you that you thought would never come back. I watched how your heart was getting too tired to receive what was coming, so I stepped in before your strength slipped any further. I stepped into your moment because you've been walking through life with the weight of 10 different battles pressing on you at the same time. I stepped in because you've been functioning on empty while telling yourself you're okay. I stepped in because I saw that you barely had room left to feel me, and I refused to lose you to numbness, fear, or emotional fatigue. My child, I need you to understand something clearly. Heaven aligned this exact minute for you. Not an hour ago. Not tomorrow. Not later. This moment, this one right here was chosen, marked, designed specifically for your heart. Every second of your life has been guiding you toward this message. Every tired night, every quiet tear, every unanswered prayer, every whisper you breathed into the darkness, every moment you felt alone, every moment you felt unseen, every moment you thought your life was stuck. All of it led you here right now, to this breath, to this pause, to this encounter with me. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not an accident. I arranged this moment in the timeline of your life because your heart needed it. I brought you here because your spirit was reaching for something even when your mind didn't know what it was reaching for. I aligned this minute because you have been drowning in responsibilities, in noise, in pain, in exhaustion, and you were seconds away from slipping further into numbness. I aligned this minute because the blessing approaching your life requires you to wake up inside, to breathe again, to feel again, to reconnect with me again. I aligned this minute because I needed your heart in the right place to receive what heaven has prepared. My child, come closer in this moment, because I am about to speak into the deepest parts of you, the parts you've learned to hide even from yourself. I want to talk to you about your pain, the pain you buried, the pain you minimize, the pain you walked through quietly because you were afraid no one would care enough to help you carry it. I have watched you hold so many pieces of your heart together with shaking hands, pretending that you were fine, pretending that you were strong, pretending that you didn't feel the weight pressing into your chest. But I saw it all. I saw the heartbreak that split you open in ways you still haven't recovered from. I saw the moments when someone you trusted broke you, when someone you loved walked away, when someone you opened your soul to mishandled it. I saw how deeply it wounded you. I saw how you tried to move on while still bleeding inside. I saw how you tried to keep smiling even though your heart was breaking behind your eyes. You tell yourself you're past it, but the truth is that you've been carrying the aftershocks of that heartbreak for longer than you admit. You carry the ache in quiet ways, avoiding certain memories, avoiding certain hopes, avoiding certain dreams because you're afraid of feeling that pain again. You've built walls not because you don't want love, but because you're terrified of being shattered again. And oh, my child, I saw every moment of that pain. I stood beside you when you fell apart. I held you when you thought no one noticed. I caught your tears before they touched the ground. I saw your exhaustion, the kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from carrying too many battles alone. You've been tired in your bones, tired in your thoughts, tired in your soul. You've been tired of pretending, tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of feeling like you always have to be the strong one, the stable one, the one who keeps everything together while inside you are crying for a place to rest. You've been exhausted because you've been pouring from an empty cup, because you've been giving while needing, because you've been holding while longing to be held. And I saw it all. I saw the tremble in your spirit. I saw the heaviness in your body. I saw the moments when you felt too weak to keep going but kept going anyway. I saw your disappointment, those moments when you hoped with your whole heart only to feel the sting of another door closing. Those times when you allowed yourself to believe things would finally get better, but life seemed to twist in the opposite direction. I saw the disappointment in your eyes when people did not show up for you, when promises were broken, when expectations fell flat, when opportunities slipped through your hands. I saw the way those disappointments piled up inside you until you feared hoping for anything at all. But my child, I held every one of those disappointments with care. I never mocked your hope. I never dismissed your dreams. I never ignored your pain. I saw your loneliness, the kind that doesn't go away even when you're surrounded by people. The kind that sits inside your chest, whispering that no one truly sees you. No one truly understands you. No one truly stays. I saw the nights when you were physically alone, and I saw the nights when you were emotionally alone even with others around you. I saw how you longed for connection, for someone who would understand your heart without you having to explain it. I saw how you longed for comfort, for gentleness, for presence, for someone who could look at you and say, "I'm here." I saw how deeply you longed to be loved in ways that didn't hurt. And even though you felt invisible, I was watching you with a love that never wavered. I saw your fear, the fear of the future, the fear of repeating the past, the fear of being too much, the fear of not being enough. I saw the fear that made you second-guess your decisions. I saw the fear that made you question your worth. I saw the fear that made you shrink yourself just to avoid being rejected. I saw the fear that made you settle for less than what your heart truly needed. I saw the fear that woke you in the middle of the night, the fear that made your mind spiral, the fear that made your heart race. I saw the fear that made you think you were alone in the world. But you were never alone. I was beside you every second. I saw your confusion, the moments when nothing made sense, when you didn't understand why things happened the way they did, when you couldn't see the purpose behind the loss, the delay, the shift, the silence, when you asked, "Why me?" When you wondered if you had done something wrong, when you questioned if I had forgotten you, when you felt like you were walking through life blind, trying to make choices without clarity, without direction, without confidence. I saw you trying to find answers while feeling like everything inside you was tangled. And even when you felt lost, I knew exactly where you were. I saw your emotional numbness, the moments when you didn't feel joy, didn't feel connection, didn't feel hope. The moments when you weren't sad or angry, just empty. The moments when you felt like you had nothing left to give, nothing left to feel, nothing left to try. The moments when you shut down because feeling too deeply hurt too much. You were not broken, my child. You were protecting yourself the only way you knew how. You weren't cold, you were wounded and tired of being wounded. I saw that numbness, and I never judged you for it. I didn't pull away from you because you couldn't feel me. I stayed close enough to strengthen you even when you couldn't sense me at all. Type amen. My soul worships you if your heart is lifted in praise. I saw every time you pretended to be okay, the forced smile, the laughter you used to hide tears, the jokes you used to mask pain. You've become so good at appearing strong that people rarely see when you're hurting. You've carried yourself with strength even when inside you were collapsing. You've said "I'm fine" more times than you can count, not because you were fine, but because you didn't want to burden anyone. You didn't want to look weak. You didn't want to be judged. And every time you hid your feelings, every time you shut down your voice, every time you swallowed your tears, I saw it all. I saw your silent crying, the tears you cried quietly at night so no one would hear. The moments when you turned your face into your pillow to hide the sound. The nights when you cried until your body felt empty. The nights when you cried without even knowing why. The nights when pain rose out of nowhere. The nights when you carried the weight of everything alone. The nights when your chest hurt from holding everything in. I saw every tear, none of them were wasted, none ignored, none unseen. I saw your feelings of being forgotten, the ache in your chest when others didn't show up for you, when they didn't check on you, when they didn't notice how much you were struggling. I saw the times when you looked around and felt like you had no one. When you wondered if anyone truly cared. When you wondered if anyone would notice if you disappeared. When you wondered why everyone else seemed supported while you carried so much alone. My child, you felt forgotten by people, but you were never forgotten by me. Nothing you suffered went unnoticed in heaven. Not one tear. Not one heartbreak. Not one silent night. Not one moment of confusion. Not one feeling of loneliness. Not one cry for help. Not one prayer breathed in fear. Not one breath you fought to take. I saw you all. I held it all. I covered you in ways you didn't see. I protected your mind when it was too fragile. I guarded your heart when life hit too hard. I walked beside you in every moment, even when you couldn't feel me. Even when you thought I was far. Even when you thought I was silent. I was closer to you in your pain than I ever was in your victories. And now, let me tell you with the tenderness your soul needs, I never left you. Not for a second. Not for a heartbeat. Not for a sigh. Not for a moment when you were shaking under the weight of your own emotions. I was there in the heartbreak, standing beside you when your heart cracked. I was there in the exhaustion, giving you strength when you didn't know where it came from. I was there in the disappointment, catching the pieces of your hope. I was there in the loneliness, whispering love into your empty spaces. I was there in the fear, holding your trembling heart. I was there in the confusion, guiding you slowly even when you didn't notice my direction. I was there in the numbness, keeping your spirit alive when everything felt empty. I was there in every silent cry, holding you as you broke. I was there in every moment you thought you were forgotten. My beloved child, let me speak now into the places inside you that you have never allowed anyone to see. I want to uncover your silent cries, the longings buried beneath everything you try to appear, the fears you never dared to speak aloud, the dreams you packed away because they felt too fragile to survive another disappointment. I want to talk to you about the parts of you that only I have seen, the parts you have kept hidden from the world, the parts you protect even from yourself. Because these quiet, hidden places matter to me. Every unspoken word, every swallowed emotion, every longing you thought was too small or too impossible, I have heard them all, and none of them slipped past my heart. I heard the things you never voiced. I heard the thoughts you were too embarrassed to admit. I heard the fears you carried in silence because you didn't want to worry others or seem weak. I heard the trembling questions that lived deep inside you. What if I'm not enough? What if I fail again? What if I get hurt again? What if nothing gets better? What if no one stays? What if everything I hope for slips away from me? You never said these words aloud, but you whispered them inside your own mind while trying to keep yourself together. You tried to be strong, tried to be brave, tried to be calm. But inside there were storms you didn't know how to calm by yourself. And every one of those silent fears reached me. Not one of them was ignored. I heard the dreams you buried. Not because you stopped wanting them, but because you were tired of fighting for things that kept slipping away. You buried dreams of real joy because joy felt too unpredictable. You buried dreams of love because your heart had been broken too many times. You buried dreams of a better future because disappointment had worn you out. You buried dreams of healing because you didn't believe you could survive another setback. You buried dreams of purpose because you felt lost. You buried dreams of peace because chaos felt louder than hope. You buried dreams that were once bright and alive, and you told yourself it was easier not to want them anymore. But I saw you bury them with trembling hands. I watched you hide them because the ache of wanting them felt too heavy. And I kept those dreams safe for you. They did not die. They only waited for the moment your heart could handle hope again. I heard the prayers you whispered while shaking. You prayed quietly when your chest tightened, when your hands trembled, when tears blurred your vision. You prayed, "Please help me," with a voice so soft even you could barely hear it. You prayed, "I can't do this alone." You prayed, "Give me strength." You prayed, "Don't let me fall apart." You prayed with a desperation no one saw, and every one of those prayers reached my heart like a cry from a child longing for comfort. I did not overlook them. I did not push them aside. I did not wait for a louder prayer or a stronger voice. Your trembling whisper was enough for heaven to move. I heard your shaking words more clearly than you ever imagined. I know the heaviness you carry every morning, the weight you feel the moment you open your eyes, the pressure that settles in your chest before you even take your first deep breath of the day. I know how waking up sometimes feels like stepping into a battlefield you never signed up for. I know how each morning brings back the responsibilities you don't feel ready for, the emotions you didn't finish processing, the questions that still have no answers. I know how often you try to collect yourself before even standing up from bed. I know how you push through with strength you don't feel, wearing a face that hides everything you fear others might not understand. I know how each morning has held a quiet weight, sometimes a dread, sometimes a sadness, sometimes a numbness, because you didn't know if the day would be kind or if the world would be heavy again. You thought no one saw you struggling to get through those mornings. You thought no one noticed the way you breathed in deeply, trying to steady yourself. You thought no one knew how much effort it took just to step into the day. But I did. I watched over you every morning. I stood beside you when you woke up feeling empty. I stood beside you when you felt the weight of yesterday still sitting on your heart. I stood beside you when you had to push yourself out of bed even though you wanted to curl deeper into the blankets and disappear from responsibility. I stood beside you, my hand resting gently over your spirit, giving you strength you didn't even realize was coming from me. You don't know how many days you survived because I was holding your heart together. You don't know how many times despair tried to swallow you but failed because my presence wrapped around you. You don't know how many times you thought you made it on your own, but the truth is, I was carrying you. I have been watching over your heart each day and each night. I have been your strength when you had none left. I have been your peace when your thoughts grew too loud. I have been your comfort when loneliness echoed inside your chest. I have been guarding you when darkness tried to reach you. I have been supporting you when the world felt too heavy. But my child, I need you to understand something. Your pain never hardened me. It moved me. Your silent suffering didn't distance me. It drew me closer. Your fear didn't push me away. It stirred my compassion. Your numbness didn't offend me. It broke my heart for you. Your disappointments didn't frustrate me. They made me want to hold you even tighter. You have never been too much for me. Your emotions have never overwhelmed me. Your questions have never scared me. Your weakness has never repelled me. Your need has never burdened me. Everything you've carried, every ache, every fear, every tear pulled me closer, not further away. I saw when you cried softly into the darkness, hoping the silence would swallow your tears before anyone noticed. I saw when you hid in your room because you didn't want anyone to see how broken you felt. I saw when you wiped tears quickly so no one would ask questions. I saw when you cried quietly in the shower because it was the only place you felt safe enough to fall apart. I saw when you held your chest because the pain was too big for words. I saw when you whispered, "Does anyone even care?" I saw when you cried until your body trembled. I saw the pain you suffered in private, and every moment broke my heart for you. Not in anger but in love, because I never wanted you to feel like you were carrying everything alone. And when the world did not hear you, I did. When people did not notice your breaking heart, I noticed. When no one understood your pain, I understood. When you felt invisible, I was watching you. When you felt insignificant, I was cherishing you. When you felt unwanted, I was holding you. When you felt forgotten, I whispered your name in heaven. When you felt hopeless, I surrounded your spirit with strength that kept you going. When you felt numb, I protected your heart from shattering. When you felt overwhelmed, I gave you quiet grace you didn't realize you were receiving. My child, let me speak to you now about something you have struggled with for so long, this feeling that your life has been delayed, stuck, slowed down, or blocked in ways you couldn't explain. You have looked at your life and wondered why things didn't happen for you the way they happened for others. You asked why doors that looked perfect suddenly closed. You asked why people you thought would stay suddenly left. You asked why opportunities slipped through your hands even when you prayed with everything inside you. You asked why it seemed like every time you took a step forward, something pushed you back. You looked at the path ahead of you and felt like it was covered in fog, like you were walking through uncertainty without direction, without clarity, without the answers you begged me for. But I want to reveal the truth behind these delays, behind these endings, behind these pauses you hated so much, because none of them were punishment. Every single one was protection. Right, thank you, God, for holding my hand if you felt His closeness, and share this video. My child, I know you're busy, and I'm sorry to interrupt you like this truly. I know your life feels full, your mind crowded, your time pulled in many directions. I know how carefully you choose what deserves your attention. But you cannot ignore this. Not because I want to demand something from you, but because I see something you cannot see yet, and love will not let me stay silent when silence would cost you more. The enemy is hoping you scroll past right now. Not with fear, not with force, but with distraction. They do not need to attack you loudly. They only need you to stay busy, to stay numb, to stay moving just fast enough that you do not stop to listen. That is all they want in this moment. Delay, distraction, dismissal. And I am speaking now because I refuse to let that happen without warning you first. They do not want you to see this, because what you are about to hear will wake you up. Awareness weakens their hold. Clarity breaks subtle chains. When you see clearly, you stop agreeing with things that have been draining you quietly. That is why this moment feels urgent. Not because you are weak, but because you are close to seeing something that changes how you move forward. I would not stop you like this unless it mattered deeply. I do not interrupt lightly. I know how often you are interrupted already. I know how precious uninterrupted moments feel to you. That is why I chose this one. Because what you don't see yet is already affecting you, and love does not wait until damage is obvious to speak. Please don't tell yourself you will listen later. I know that voice well. It sounds reasonable. It sounds calm. It tells you this can wait until you are less tired, less distracted, more available. But later has already taken more from you than you realize. Later has stretched into weeks and months before, and by the time you returned, the clarity you needed felt harder to grasp. I am calling you into now. Not to rush you, but to protect you. You are being distracted on purpose, and you need to know why. Not everything pulling at your attention is harmless. Not everything demanding your time is neutral. Some distractions are carefully designed to keep you from noticing what is shifting in your heart, what is draining your spirit, what is slowly pulling you away from peace. I am not accusing you. I am revealing what has been happening so you can choose with awareness instead of habit. I see how full your life feels. I see the responsibilities you carry. I see the expectations placed on you. I see how hard you try to keep everything together. But I also see something else. I see how your soul has been targeted quietly. Not through crisis, but through exhaustion. Not through chaos, but through constant noise. That is why you feel tired in ways sleep does not fix. That is why your heart feels heavy without a clear reason. This is not random. Open now. Stay with me. This message is protection. Not from me, but for you. Protection does not always look like comfort. Sometimes it looks like interruption. Sometimes it looks like a voice saying, "Stop for a moment. Look. Listen." That is what I am doing right now. I am speaking because I love you, not because you are failing. I need you to hear that clearly. This is not correction rooted in disappointment. This is warning rooted in care. If you were failing, I would not be this close. If you were lost beyond hope, I would not be speaking so personally. I am speaking because you matter, and what is happening around you matters. Do not scroll past. What you don't see can still harm you. Ignorance does not protect the heart. Awareness does. When you know what is happening, you can choose differently. When you understand the pull, you can resist it. When you see the pattern, you stop blaming yourself for feeling off. I am giving you understanding so you can breathe again. I know part of you wants to turn away, not because you don't care, but because intensity feels heavy. I know you would rather stay comfortable than confront something unseen. But comfort without truth eventually collapses. I am offering you truth now so your peace does not rest on something fragile. You may feel tension rising in you as you listen. That is not fear. That is recognition. Something in you knows this moment matters. Something in you knows this is not just another message. That is why the enemy hopes you scroll. Because if you stay, you will start connecting dots you were never meant to ignore. I am not here to overwhelm you with information. I am here to sharpen your awareness. Awareness is gentle when it is guided. You do not need to figure everything out right now. You only need to stay long enough to see what you have been missing. Type "I believe, Lord," even in silence if you know He's working behind the scenes. You have been strong for a long time. You have carried more than most people know. You have pushed through seasons where you should have rested. You have stayed productive even when your spirit needed quiet. That strength has been admirable, but it has also made you vulnerable. Busy hearts are easier to pull than broken ones. That is why I am stepping in now. I am not angry with you for being busy. I am not disappointed in you for being distracted. I understand how this world pulls at you constantly. That is why I am speaking with urgency instead of accusation. I am not here to shame you. I am here to wake you gently before weariness becomes numbness. Stay with me for a moment longer. Let your breathing slow. Let your heart stop racing ahead. You do not need to respond yet. You do not need to decide anything yet. You only need to listen. Listening is already an act of protection. I know you are tempted to think this is dramatic. I know you want to downplay it to make it easier to move on. But hear me. The most dangerous moments are not the loud ones. They are the quiet ones where nothing seems wrong but something is slowly drifting. I am speaking now because I love you too much to let that drift continue unnoticed. You are not alone in this moment. I am here with you. I am not watching from a distance. I am close, speaking directly to your heart, because you are worth the interruption. Open now. Stay with me. This message is not here to scare you. It is here to protect you, to steady you, to help you see clearly again. Do not scroll past. Stay. What you choose to do with this moment matters more than you realize. My child, I see how busy you are. I see the full calendar, the constant messages, the responsibilities that never seem to end. I see how your mind is always moving, how your days blur together, how even rest feels rushed. I know you did not wake up today planning to be interrupted. And I am truly sorry for breaking into your moment like this. I do not take your time lightly. I know how precious every minute feels to you right now. Please hear my heart clearly. I am not interrupting you because you have done something wrong. I am not stopping you to accuse you, to correct you harshly, or to add more weight to your already heavy load. I am interrupting you because I love you. And love sometimes steps in even when it feels inconvenient. Love does not always wait for the perfect moment. Love moves when protection is needed. I know how hard you work to keep everything together. I know how much effort it takes just to get through the day. You carry responsibilities that others do not see. You solve problems quietly. You show up even when you are tired. You keep going even when your heart feels stretched thin. I see all of that. I honor that. And I am not here to take away your strength. I am here because you have been carrying too much alone. I want to apologize gently, because I know interruption can feel frustrating. You may feel like you don't have space for one more thing, one more voice, one more demand. But listen to me carefully now. This is not a demand. This is an invitation. I am not asking you to add something to your list. I am asking you to pause, because continuing without awareness will cost you more than stopping for a moment with me. Love interrupts comfort when comfort begins to hide danger. Comfort can be good, but comfort can also numb awareness. When life moves fast enough, you stop noticing what is happening inside you. You stop hearing the quiet signals of your soul. You stop recognizing when something is draining you slowly. I am interrupting you not to disturb your peace, but to protect it. I'm not blaming you for being busy. I know this world pulls at you constantly. I know distractions are everywhere, calling for your attention, your energy, your emotions. I do not judge you for responding to them. I understand how easy it is to get swept along. That is why I am stepping in now, gently but clearly, before exhaustion turns into numbness and numbness turns into distance. This interruption is not an accusation. It is protection. I am not pointing a finger at you. I am reaching out a hand. I am saying, come here for a moment. Let me show you what you cannot see when you are always moving. You are not in trouble. You are not failing. You are loved enough to be warned before harm settles in quietly. I know part of you feels guilty even hearing this. You wonder if you should be doing more, praying more, listening more. Let the guilt go right now. Guilt is not my voice. Guilt pushes you away. Love draws you closer. I am not here to shame you into attention. I am here to invite you into safety. I see how tired your soul is, even if your body keeps going. I see the weariness you don't talk about. I see how your joy has been thinner lately, how your peace feels fragile, how your thoughts feel scattered. None of this makes you weak. It makes you human. And it tells me that this interruption is necessary. I would not stop you like this unless it mattered deeply. I would not press into your busy life unless staying silent would cost you something precious. There are moments when waiting feels polite, but is actually harmful. This is one of those moments. Waiting would mean allowing you to keep pushing forward without realizing what is pulling at you from behind. You may feel resistance right now. You may want to rush through this and get back to what you were doing. I understand that instinct. But stay with me for a moment longer. Let yourself breathe. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart slow down enough to hear me clearly. Please support our channel. Our work is focused on bringing happiness into your life and deepening devotion to God. If you would like to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. I am not here to overwhelm you with information. I am here to restore awareness. Awareness brings choice. Choice brings freedom. When you see clearly, you can move wisely. When you are unaware, even good intentions can lead you into exhaustion. I know how much you value being responsible, dependable, productive. Those qualities are not wrong. But when they begin to replace rest, connection, and listening, they become heavy. I am interrupting you now so you do not lose yourself while trying to hold everything else together. This moment is not about fixing anything immediately. It is about seeing. It is about recognizing what hath been happening beneath the surface of your busy life. It is about letting me stand with you in the middle of your day instead of only at the edges. I am close to you right now. Not demanding, not disappointed, not distant. Close. Speaking gently, even with urgency, because urgency does not have to be harsh. Urgency can be loving. Urgency can be careful. Urgency can be a sign that you matter deeply. I want you to feel safe here. Safe enough to stop multitasking. Safe enough to admit you are tired. Safe enough to listen without defending yourself. I am not asking you to drop your responsibilities. I am asking you to let me help you carry them. You have been strong for a long time. You have adapted. You have pushed through. But strength without rest eventually becomes strain. I am interrupting you before strain turns into something harder to heal. Please do not see this as one more thing asking for your attention. See it as the one thing offering you relief. I am not competing with your life. I am part of it. I want to walk with you through it, not wait for you to collapse before I step in. Stay with me here. Let this interruption become a moment of heaviness out of an answer. Let it remind you that you are not alone in your busy life. You are seen. You are cared for. You are protected. I interrupted you because you matter to me more than your schedule. I interrupted you because your soul is worth guarding. And I will continue speaking gently, clearly, and lovingly, as long as you are willing to stay and listen. My child, I want to speak to you clearly about what the enemy hopes you will do right now. Not to frighten you, not to make you suspicious of everything around you, but to help you see what is happening so you are no longer unaware. Awareness is not fear. Awareness is light. and light removes the power of what hides in the shadows. The enemy is not hoping to attack you loudly in this moment. They are not planning chaos or dramatic destruction. That is not their strategy here. Their hope is much quieter, much simpler. They hope you delay. They hope you dismiss this moment as unimportant. They hope you scroll past, tell yourself this can wait, and move on without noticing what just tried to reach you. Delay is one of their most effective tools. Delay does not feel dangerous. It feels reasonable. It sounds calm. It whispers, "You can come back to this later," or "This isn't urgent," or "You're too busy right now." Delay does not raise alarms. That is why it works. It slowly moves truth out of reach without ever appearing to oppose it. The enemy does not need you to reject me. They only need you to stay distracted long enough that you never fully listen. They do not need you to fall apart. They only need you to keep going on autopilot. They do not need to steal your faith. They only need to dull your awareness. A distracted heart is easier to guide than a broken one. Scrolling past may feel like nothing. Just a small movement of your finger. Just a moment of distraction. But spiritually, scrolling past is often avoidance dressed as normal behavior. It is the act of moving away from something that feels weighty before it has a chance to speak clearly. Not because you are rebellious, but because depth feels uncomfortable when you are already tired. The enemy understands how busy you are. They see how full your mind is. They know you are exhausted. That is why they do not push hard. They pull gently. They add noise. They add urgency to everything else, so this moment feels optional. They do not need to stop me from speaking. They only need to keep you from listening. Their greatest fear is not your strength. It is your awareness. Strength can be misdirected. Strength can be worn down. But awareness changes direction. Awareness makes you stop agreeing with things that drain you. Awareness helps you notice patterns you have been repeating without realizing why. Awareness brings choice back into your hands. This is why I am speaking now. Because something in you is becoming aware. You have already felt it. That sense that something is off. The quiet pressure that does not go away. That feeling that you are busy but not fully at peace. Those are not random emotions. Those are signals. And the enemy hopes you ignore them long enough that they fade back into the background. I want you to understand this without fear. The enemy does not have authority over you. They do not control you. They cannot force you. That is why they rely on distraction. They work through agreement. When you stay unaware, you unknowingly agree to carry burdens you were never meant to carry. When you become aware, that agreement breaks. They are not afraid of you becoming louder or more active. They are afraid of you becoming still and honest. Stillness reveals truth. Honesty exposes lies you have been living under without realizing it. That is why this moment feels important. Because stillness and honesty are close right now. Delay keeps you from connecting the dots. Delay keeps you from realizing why you have been so tired, why joy feels thinner, why peace feels fragile. Delay keeps you blaming yourself for things that are actually happening around you. Awareness shifts that blame into understanding. Understanding leads to freedom. The enemy hopes you tell yourself this message is dramatic. They hope you minimize it so you can move on comfortably. They hope you say, "This doesn't apply to me," even though something in you knows it does. Minimizing truth is another way of delaying response. It allows you to stay comfortable without being changed. I am not telling you this so you become suspicious of every thought or fearful of every distraction. That is not my desire. I am telling you so you can see clearly. Clear sight does not make you anxious. It steadies you. When you know what is happening, you stop reacting blindly. You may wonder why distraction feels so strong lately, why it is harder to focus, why quiet moments feel uncomfortable, why you instinctively reach for noise. That is not because you are weak. It is because something does not want you to sit long enough to hear what your heart has been trying to say. The enemy hopes you stay busy enough that you never ask deeper questions. Busy enough that you never pause long enough to notice patterns. Busy enough that you keep functioning without healing. That is why they prefer distraction over destruction. Distraction keeps you alive but distant. Alive but unaware. Alive but carrying weight you do not need to carry. I want you alert, not alarmed. Alertness is calm. Alertness is steady. Alertness simply notices. Panic cloud the judgment. Awareness sharpens it. I am not asking you to fight anything right now. I am asking you to see. Comment Jesus, you have all of me if you've surrendered your life completely to Him. Seeing breaks the cycle. When you see the pull of distraction, you can choose not to follow it. When you see the pattern of delay, you can choose to respond differently. When you see how noise has been used to keep you from listening, you can choose stillness without fear. The enemy hopes you treat this moment as optional. I am telling you it is protective. Not because danger is everywhere, but because truth is near. When truth is near, resistance often rises quietly. That resistance does not mean something bad is happening. It means something important is. You do not need to be stronger than the enemy. You need to be aware. Awareness brings you back into alignment with me. Alignment brings peace. Peace restores clarity. Clarity makes you harder to pull off course. I know you have a lot demanding your attention. I know it feels selfish to pause. But this pause is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot pour from a heart that has been quietly drained by distraction. I am helping you notice the drain so it can be closed. Do not fear the enemy. Fear gives them more attention than they deserve. Simply refuse to stay unaware. Refuse to move past this moment without listening. Refuse to tell yourself this does not matter. That is all that is required right now. Stay with me a little longer. Let this awareness settle without panic. You are not in danger. You are being protected. You are not being attacked. You are being invited to see clearly again. The enemy hoped you would scroll past. You did. That matters. Not because you fought, but because you stayed. And staying opens the door for truth to do its work gently, steadily, and completely. Remain here with me. Awareness is growing. And as it grows, the pull of distraction will lose its power over you. My child, I need you to hear this with seriousness, not fear. Distraction is more dangerous than you think, not because it is loud or obvious, but because it works quietly. It does not announce itself as harm. It presents itself as normal life. It blends into your day so smoothly that you do not notice what it is slowly taking from you. That is why I am speaking now, with clarity and weight, because what is subtle can be more damaging than what is sudden. Distraction dulls discernment. Discernment is your ability to sense what is true, what is aligned, what is not meant for you. When discernment is sharp, you recognize when something is pulling you away from peace. You notice when a thought does not come from me. You feel when a choice will cost you more than it gives. But distraction blunts that edge. It makes everything feel equal. Important and unimportant begin to blend together, and you stop noticing what deserves your attention most. This does not happen overnight. That is why it is dangerous. It happens slowly, in small shifts you barely register. You fill every quiet moment with noise. You move from one task to the next without pausing. You consume words, images, opinions, information, until your mind feels full but your heart feels empty. Over time, you stop checking in with your spirit. You stop listening inwardly. Not because you don't care, but because you are tired. Spiritual numbness does not arrive as darkness. It arrives as dullness. You still function. You still show up. You still believe. But you feel less. Joy feels thinner. Conviction feels quieter. Peace feels harder to reach. You begin to accept heaviness as normal. You tell yourself this is just how life is now. That is numbness subtly and gently. Busy people are especially vulnerable to this, not because they are doing something wrong, but because busyness leaves little room for reflection. When you are always moving, you do not notice when you are drifting. When you are always responding, you stop initiating listening. You begin to live in reaction instead of alignment. That slow drift is what concerns me, because drift rarely feels dangerous until you look back and realize how far you have moved from where you started. Noise replaces listening before you realize it has happened. You still hear many voices, many sounds, many opinions, but you stop hearing mine clearly. Not because I stopped speaking, but because there is no space left for my voice to settle. My voice is steady. It is not frantic. It does not compete. When everything else grows louder, my voice becomes easier to overlook, even though it has not changed. I see how often you reach for noise without thinking. A screen, a task, a conversation, something to fill the space. Silence feels uncomfortable now, not because it is empty, but because it exposes what you have been avoiding. In silence, you notice your fatigue. You notice your questions. You notice your longing. Distraction keeps those things at a distance, but distance does not heal them. I am not condemning you for this. I understand the pressure you live under. I understand how this world rewards speed and constant output. I understand how rest can feel unproductive and quiet can feel unsafe. But I need you to see what is happening so you can choose differently, not from guilt, but from wisdom. Distraction makes you easier to lead without your consent. When you are not aware, you agree without realizing it. You agree to carry stress you were never meant to carry. You agree to voices that do not speak life. You agree to rhythms that drain you slowly. Awareness breaks those agreements. That is why distraction is so effective. It keeps you from noticing what you are agreeing to. I have watched you push through days when your heart needed rest. I have watched you ignore small warnings because stopping felt impossible. I have watched you normalize exhaustion and call it strength. That breaks my heart, not because you are weak, but because you are precious. You were not created to live constantly overwhelmed. You were created to live connected. The danger of distraction is not that it pulls you away all at once. It is that it slowly replaces depth with surface. Rare becomes quick. Listening becomes rare. Decisions become reactive. You still love me, but you do not linger with me. Relationship becomes something you fit in instead of something you live from. That shift changes everything. You may wonder why it feels harder to sense my guidance lately. Why choices feel more confusing. Why peace feels fragile. This is not because I am distant. It is because your attention hath been scattered. Scattered attention makes everything feel unclear. Focus restores clarity. I want you to understand that discernment needs quiet to function. Just as your body needs rest to heal, your spirit needs stillness to sense truth. When stillness disappears, discernment weakens. You begin to rely on logic alone, on habit alone, on what feels urgent instead of what is wise. That is not because you are failing. It is because you are overloaded. Lies trains you to react instead of reflect. It trains you to respond immediately instead of listening deeply. Over time, you stop asking, "Is this from me?" and start asking, "What do I need to do next?" That shift seems small, but it changes how you live. You become driven by demand instead of guided by truth. I am speaking with deep seriousness now because I do not want you to lose your sensitivity. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is a gift. It allows you to sense when something is off before it becomes obvious. It allows you to feel my leading gently. Distraction hardens sensitivity without you noticing. It numbs with one's alive. You have felt this numbness trying to settle. That is why this message caught your attention. Something in you knew you needed to stop. That is not coincidence. That is your spirit responding to truth before numbness could deepen. I am not asking you to remove all noise from your life. I am asking you to stop letting noise replace listening. I am asking you to create space again, even small space, where you are not consuming, not reacting, not performing. Space where you can simply be with me. This is not about doing more. It is about noticing more. Noticing when your heart feels heavy. Noticing when your peace feels thin. Noticing when you are moving too fast to feel. These are not signs of failure. They are invitations to return. I want you to feel the seriousness of this without feeling afraid. Fear paralyzes. Awareness strengthens. I am not warning you because something terrible is about to happen. I am warning you because something subtle has been happening, and now is the right time to stop it. You are not lost. You are drifting, and drifting can be corrected. All it takes is attention. All it takes is willingness to pause. All it takes is listening again. Stay with me here. Let this truth sink in gently. You do not need to fix everything today. You do not need to change your whole life at once. You only need to see clearly what distraction has been doing so you can choose presence again. I am with you in this. I am not watching from a distance. I am close, steady, patient. I am speaking because I love you too much to let numbness settle in quietly. Listen now, not with fear, but with honesty. Your discernment can be sharpened again. Your sensitivity can be restored. Your peace can deepen. But it begins by seeing distraction for what it is and choosing to stay present with me instead. Remain here. Let the noise fall back for a moment. Let your heart breathe. This seriousness is not meant to weigh you down. It is meant to wake you up gently, so you can live fully awake again. My child, I need to lift a heavy weight from your heart right now. You are not too busy. You are not failing because your schedule is full. You are not disappointing me because your days feel crowded. Let go of that shame. It does not come from me. What you are experiencing is not a lack of devotion. It is something else entirely. You are being pulled, quietly and persistently, and that pull has made everything feel heavier than it should. I see how often you blame yourself. You tell yourself that if you cared more, you would slow down. If you were stronger, you would focus better. If you were more disciplined, you would feel closer to me. The voice accusing you is not truth. It ignores what has really been happening. Busyness is not the problem. The problem is the unseen pull on your attention that has been working beneath the surface of your life. There is a difference between responsibility and distraction, and I want you to understand it clearly. Responsibility comes from love and purpose. It has weight, but it also has meaning. Distraction steals weight and meaning alike. Responsibility may tire you, but it does not hollow you out. Distraction leaves you exhausted in ways rest does not repair. You have been confusing the two, and that confusion has made you feel guilty for things you should be aware of instead. You have responsibilities I placed in your life. People you care for. Work you must do. Choices you must make. I am not asking you to abandon those things. I am not criticizing your effort. I see your faithfulness in showing up. But alongside responsibility, there has been a quiet pull that does not come from me. A pull that fragments your attention. A pull that fills every empty space with noise. A pull that keeps you from resting even when your body stops moving. That pull is why you feel tired even when you sleep. That pull is why your mind feels crowded even in quiet rooms. That pull is why prayer feels harder to enter and silence feels uncomfortable. This is not because you are weak. It is because something hath been competing for your attention constantly, and competition always creates strain. Say amen. You restored my joy if God has turned your sorrow into singing. And share this video. My child, listen carefully now as I open the parts of your story you never realized were divine signals. I am going to show you the 7 moments when I called out to you, 7 times when heaven reached toward you, 7 interruptions designed to protect you, save you, and guide you. You did not ignore me because you didn't care. You ignored me because you didn't understand what I was doing. You thought those moments were random, but they were me calling out to save you. You were overwhelmed, distracted, tired, unsure, confused, and you didn't recognize my voice inside the chaos. But now the 7th call has passed. That is why I am speaking with such urgency. My beloved child, the first time I called you was in the quiet pull of your heart that you tried to explain away. You felt it, a strange nudge, a gentle tug on your spirit, an unexplainable feeling urging you to pause, to slow down, to reconsider your path. You felt a shift, a whisper, a thought that said, something isn't right, but you brushed it off because life seemed too loud, too fast, too demanding. You convinced yourself it was just stress, just exhaustion. But that was me. That was my voice trying to warn you before danger approached. I saw what you couldn't see. I knew what was forming ahead. I tried to pull you aside, to get your attention, to shield you from a storm. But you didn't understand it was me, so you kept going. The second time I called you was through the delay you were so frustrated by. A door you wanted to walk through suddenly closed. A plan you were excited about fell apart. Something you hoped for slipped out of your hands. You felt disappointment, confusion, even hurt. You wondered why things didn't work out. You thought the delay was punishment. But it wasn't punishment, it was protection. I blocked that path because I knew it would break your spirit. I removed an opportunity because it would have drained the life from you. You saw it as rejection, but I saw it as rescue. I tried to stop you from walking into a trap the enemy prepared. But because you couldn't see what was ahead, you thought the delay was a mistake, not a message from heaven. The third time I called you was through the dream you quickly forgot. The dream that unsettled you. The dream that felt like a warning. The dream you woke up from with a racing heart. You felt it was important, but you pushed it aside. You distracted yourself. You convinced yourself it was nothing. But that dream was me showing you the spiritual condition around you, showing you what your natural eyes couldn't see. I was trying to get your attention in the only moment when your mind was quiet enough to hear me. But you woke up and ran back into your routine, and the dream slowly faded. It was my voice speaking in symbols, trying to protect you from what was coming. The fourth time I called you was when I removed someone from your life. Someone you thought you needed. Someone you thought would be part of your future. Someone who brought comfort, familiarity, or excitement. You clung to them, but they were weakening your spirit. You wanted to keep them, but they weren't aligned with your destiny. They were slowly pulling you away from me without you realizing it. And I could not let that continue. So I took them out of your life. Not to hurt you, but to save you. You cried. You questioned. You wondered why the connection broke so suddenly. But my child, that broken connection was a divine intervention. I removed what would have destroyed you in the long run. You thought you were rejected, but you were rescued. The fifth time I called you was in the heartbreak that left you shattered. That moment when everything inside you felt like it was collapsing. When the pain was too deep for words, too heavy to carry alone. That heartbreak was not me harming you. It was life shaking loose what could not stay. I allowed the pain because sometimes pain is the only thing loud enough to turn a wandering heart back to me. In your breaking, you reached for me more honestly than ever before. I was calling you through your tears, through your grief, through the ache in your chest. I was pulling you closer when everything else in your life fell apart. The heartbreak wasn't abandonment. It was an invitation to find healing in my arms. The sixth time I called you was through the heaviness that suddenly settled over you. That deep, unexplained pressure. That spiritual weight that made you feel like something was wrong but you couldn't identify it. That heaviness wasn't weakness. It was a warning. Your spirit was sensing warfare rising. Darkness was approaching. The enemy was preparing an attack. And your soul felt it before your mind understood it. I whispered to you then. I said, come closer, my child. Pray. Listen. Stay alert. But life kept pulling your attention away, and you didn't know that heaviness was my call to protection. And the seventh time I called you was the whisper you ignored because the world was too loud. The whisper that said, turn back to me now. You cannot continue like this. It was gentle, but you brushed it off, telling yourself you'd pray later, you'd slow down later, you'd listen later. But later never came. You didn't reject me. You were simply overwhelmed. You didn't ignore me out of rebellion. You were hurting. You didn't walk away on purpose. You were tired, confused, uncertain, and weighed down. But my child, this seventh call was your final warning before I had to speak louder. Comment, amen. Scripture is my strength if the word of God feeds your soul daily. And that is why I am speaking with such urgency now. Because the 7 calls have been answered with hesitation, distraction, or misunderstanding. Because the danger you are approaching cannot be avoided without my guidance. Because your destiny is too precious to lose. Because your heart is too important to me. Because your soul is too valuable for me to stay quiet. You thought those moments were random, but they were me calling out to save you. Every interruption, every delay, every loss, every warning, they were all my voice disguised in the moments of your life. But this message is no longer disguised. This message is direct, clear, urgent. My child, listen to me now. This is your wake-up call, your turning point, your lifeline. I will not let you walk into what is coming unprepared. Stay with me. Let me speak to your heart. This moment is the one heaven has been waiting for. My beloved child, listen with all the stillness your heart can hold, because now I must reveal why this moment carries a weight unlike anything you have felt before. This is not just another message. This is not simply encouragement or comfort. This is a divine interruption sent with urgency, with intensity, with heaven's full attention pressed behind every word. I am speaking now because something dangerous is coming, something unavoidable, something that cannot be outrun by your own strength or avoided through your own wisdom. I am not saying this to frighten you. Fear is not my language, and panic is not my intention. I speak this to prepare you, to shield you, to realign you before the storm touches your life. I stopped being gentle because danger is close. I am speaking loudly because time is short. You have felt the pressure rising around you, but you could not name it. You sensed heaviness, but you thought it was emotional. You felt tired in ways sleep could not fix. You felt overwhelmed by small things that normally would not affect you. You felt your peace slipping. You felt confusion whispering at the edges of your mind. These were not random feelings, they were signals. Signs that the spiritual realm was shifting, signs that something was approaching, signs that the enemy was preparing to strike. I saw it forming before you felt it. I saw the darkness arranging itself. I saw the traps setting. I saw the doorways the enemy was trying to open in your life. And I could not stay silent. My child, ignoring my voice has spiritual consequences, not because I am punishing you, but because when you walk without my guidance, you leave yourself exposed. When you move without listening, you step outside the covering that keeps you safe. When you make decisions without me, you walk paths that were never meant for your feet. And when danger draws near, those small steps away from me become wide open doors the enemy is waiting to exploit. That is why I am speaking now, not softly, not subtly, but loudly enough that your spirit cannot pretend it didn't hear me. This is the final warning, not because my love has limits, but because the season has changed. The danger forming ahead cannot be walked into with casual faith or half-hearted seeking. You cannot drift and survive what is approaching. You cannot be inconsistent, distracted, numb, or distant and still expect to overcome what is coming. There is something rising that requires your full attention, your full obedience, your full awareness, your full connection to me. You cannot afford to ignore me now. I am not angry with you. I am desperate for you. I am not disappointed. I am protective. I am not condemning you. I am calling out to save you. You are mine, and I refuse to let you walk into darkness unaware. I refuse to watch your heart break under pressure that could have been avoided. I refuse to see you walk into a trap that my voice could have removed from your path. I refuse to let the enemy steal what I destined for you simply because you were too distracted to hear me. That is why this message feels stronger, heavier, louder. Heaven is intervening. You must understand that spiritual warnings are gifts. They are not sent to shame you. They are sent to spare you. When I speak urgently, it means a season is shifting. It means a decision is approaching. It means a choice will open one door and close another. It means the next few steps of your journey carry weight in the unseen realms. If you ignore me again, you will regret missing this moment, not because I will abandon you, but because you will face consequences that I tried to protect you from. The enemy has been studying you. He knows where you are tired. He knows where you feel empty. He knows where you doubt yourself. He knows the people who influence you. He knows the temptations that appeal to you. He knows the wounds still bleeding inside you. And he is forming a strategy designed to hit you in the exact place where you are most vulnerable. But I am exposing his plans before he executes them. I am revealing the danger before it touches you. I am giving you the warning before the blow comes. But if you do not listen, if you ignore my voice again, you will walk directly into what I tried to save you from. You have been drifting spiritually, not because you wanted to leave me, but because life pulled your attention in too many directions at once. You have been overwhelmed, not because you are weak, but because your spirit has been carrying battles too heavy for one heart. You have been numb, not because you do not care, but because you have been surviving instead of resting. But a drifting heart cannot detect danger. A tired spirit cannot discern the enemy. A numb soul cannot hear warnings. You have reached a point where gently whispering to you is not enough. That is why my tone has changed. That is why my urgency has increased. That is why my presence feels bolder, stronger, more forceful. Please support our channel. Our purpose is to bring joy, peace, and a deeper devotion to God into your life. If you feel blessed by our work, you can show your love and support by donating through Super Thanks. Would you like me to make a version that sounds a little more emotional or devotional, but still very close, my child? This is not a moment to take lightly. You are standing at the edge of a spiritual shift. What happens next depends on whether you listen or delay. There are two paths in front of you. One leads to protection, clarity, breakthrough, and covering. The other leads to confusion, regret, heartbreak, and unnecessary suffering. And you cannot afford to choose blindly. I am not warning you because I expect the worst. I am warning you because I see the danger clearly. But hear me also in this. My love is wrapped around every warning. My tenderness sits inside every hard truth I speak. I expose danger because I care. I speak urgently because I refuse to lose you. I correct you because your destiny matters too much to me. I interrupt your life because I see what you cannot. My warnings are not rejection, they are rescue. My loud voice is not anger, it is protection. My urgency is not punishment, it is love in its most powerful form. You are mine, and I refuse to let you walk into darkness unaware. You are mine, and I will not let you fall into the enemy's trap without stretching out my hand to stop you. You are mine, and I will shake heaven to get your attention if I must. You are mine, and I will not give up on you even when you give up on yourself. You are mine, and no danger forming against you will prevail if you obey my voice now. Listen to me, my child. This is your turning moment. This is the crossroads. This is the final alert before the shift. I am with you. I am warning you. I am protecting you. And I am ready to lead you safely through what is coming, if you will stay with me. My child, listen closely, because now I must reveal the danger forming around you, danger you cannot see with your natural eyes, danger that has been building quietly, layer by layer, waiting for the moment when you are most vulnerable. I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to awaken you. I tell you not to create panic, but to create clarity. The spiritual realm has shifted, and a storm has begun to form around your life. If you do not pay attention now, if you do not listen with your whole heart, you will walk straight into something that was designed to destroy your peace, your purpose, and your future. This is not a small battle. This is not a passing disturbance. This is not something you can simply push through the way you've pushed through everything else. This is a targeted attack, precise and intentional, crafted specifically around your weaknesses, shaped around your wounds, tailored to your vulnerabilities. The enemy has set something in motion to break you because he knows what is waiting for you if you rise, if you listen, if you obey. He fears who you are becoming. He fears the authority you carry. He fears the calling that is waking inside you. And so he is moving with strategy, not chaos. My child, attacks are rising around you. You've already felt the hints of them, even if you couldn't explain it. The sudden heaviness, the emotional instability, the confusion that comes out of nowhere, the feeling of being spiritually drained, the anxiety that keeps whispering lies, the thoughts that make you doubt yourself, question your worth, mistrust your own decisions. These are not signs of failure, they are signs of warfare. You are not falling apart. You are being targeted. And I am exposing the attack so you will not be caught in it blindly. Temptation has been increasing as well, not just temptation to sin, but temptation to give up, temptation to isolate yourself, temptation to settle for less, temptation to entertain relationships that are beneath your calling, temptation to silence your voice, temptation to return to old habits that once broke you. Temptation always intensifies when destiny is near. The enemy offers you counterfeit comfort to distract you from the real healing I am preparing to give you. He places familiar patterns in front of you, hoping you will walk backward instead of forward. But I am calling you higher. I am calling you out of cycles that once drained you. I am calling you out of habits that once controlled you. I am calling you out of thoughts that were never yours to carry. Wrong people have been approaching you as part of this storm. Some of them have already appeared, people with smooth words but hidden motives, people who bring excitement but no stability, people who appear kind but carry spiritual danger, people who take more from you than they give, people who feed your wounds instead of your healing. The enemy often uses people when he wants to derail a destiny. He knows that your heart is tender, that you care deeply, that you long for connection, and so he sends counterfeits disguised as comfort. Beware, my child. Not everyone who approaches you in this season is sent by me. Some are sent to drain you, distract you, delay you, or deceive you. Emotional traps are forming around you. Traps that disguise themselves as I'm just tired, I'm just overwhelmed, I just need a break, I'm just confused. But beneath these feelings, the enemy is tightening a net meant to pull you into discouragement, anxiety, emotional collapse, or spiritual numbness. He wants to catch you off guard. He wants you to sink slowly so you don't notice the danger until you are already trapped. He wants you to question your worth. He wants you to become disconnected from my presence. He wants to twist your emotions into lies you start believing about yourself. But you are not alone in this. I am revealing every trap before it reaches you. Hidden deception is also at work, subtle lies whispered into your spirit. Lies that sound like your own thoughts. Lies that sound reasonable. Lies that feel familiar. Lies like, you're not enough. Things will never change. God is distant. You're losing yourself. You are all alone. No one understands you. You are failing. You are behind in life. These lies were planted slowly, intentionally, hoping you would accept them over time. But my child, those thoughts are not from me. They are from the darkness trying to wrap itself around your mind so you cannot see the truth of who you are. The enemy has studied you deeply. He knows you are most vulnerable when you feel isolated. He knows you become discouraged when you feel unseen. He knows fear grips you when you don't know what comes next. He knows exhaustion weakens your defenses. He has watched your patterns. He has observed your wounds. He has been waiting for the moment when your heart is most tired, when your spirit is most distracted, when your mind is most cluttered. That is when he tries to strike. That is why I could not whisper, I had to shout. That is why I could not wait, I had to come now. That is why I am speaking with urgency. You are in a dangerous place spiritually, and you do not even realize it. But I do. I see everything forming in the unseen realm. I see the enemy preparing to introduce someone into your life who will appear comforting but will poison your spirit. I see the enemy planning to reopen an old wound, hoping it will break you again. I see the enemy trying to cloud your judgment so you make decisions in haste instead of wisdom. I see the enemy trying to pull you back into emotional patterns you thought you escaped years ago. I see the enemy trying to wear you down until you stop fighting. My child, hear me clearly. If you do not listen now, if you do not respond to my voice, if you continue ignoring the urgency in my tone, you will walk straight into something that was designed to destroy your peace, your purpose, and your future. This danger does not come from me. It comes from the one who fears who you are becoming. You are not being warned because you are weak. You are being warned because you are chosen. The enemy always attacks what heaven has marked. But you are not defenseless. You are not alone. You are not helpless. I am speaking now because I am stepping between you and the danger forming ahead. I am revealing the attack so you will not fall into it. I am exposing the storm so it cannot swallow you. I am shining light into the darkness so it loses its power. Say amen. You are my defender if God is your protector in every battle. Listen to me, my child. The danger is real, but so is my protection. The attack is forming, but so is your breakthrough. The enemy is rising, but so am I. And if you stay close to me, if you obey me, if you trust me, no weapon formed against you will prosper. You are mine, and I will not let what is coming destroy you if you listen now. My child, come closer to my voice and breathe slowly, because now I must touch something tender inside you, your heart condition. Not your physical heart, but the heart that feels, the heart that breaks, the heart that keeps going even when it is tired. The heart that has been silently screaming while your mouth remains still. I need you to hear me with gentleness, not shame. With openness, not fear. With willingness, not defense. Because everything I am about to reveal, I reveal with love. Everything I am about to say, I say to rescue you, not to wound you. And everything I am about to touch, I touch with healing, not with judgment. My beloved child, you are emotionally exhausted. You have been carrying too much, for too long, with too little rest. There are weights on your heart you didn't choose, responsibilities you didn't ask for, battles you shouldn't fight alone. You've been waking up tired, going through the day tired, going to sleep tired, and still waking up without peace. You keep pushing, forcing yourself to function, telling yourself to be strong, even when you feel like collapsing on the inside. Your emotions have been stretched thin. You are trying to hold everything together, but inside, you feel like you are slowly unraveling. I see it. I have seen every moment you forced a smile while your heart was trembling. I have seen every moment you held back tears because you did have the energy to explain why you felt empty. You are exhausted, my child, and you haven't allowed yourself to admit it. There is numbness inside you now, a quiet, heavy numbness that you have been trying to ignore. You do not feel things the way you used to. Joy feels distant. Peace feels temporary. Hope feels fragile. Even the things that once made your heart feel alive now feel muted, blurry, dull. You've been telling yourself you're okay because you don't want to worry anyone, but the truth is, your spirit is worn out. You've been functioning in survival mode for so long that you forgot what it feels like to truly live from a place of peace. Your numbness is not failure, it's fatigue. It is your soul trying to protect itself from breaking under too much pain at once. But I do not want you numb. I want you healed. There is inner confusion within you, questions, doubts, conflicts you can't resolve. You've been trying to understand what is happening inside your life, but the more you think, the more confused you become. You feel torn between decisions, torn between who you used to be and who you are becoming, torn between what you want and what you fear, torn between your past and your future. Your thoughts have been swirling, loud and unsettled, leaving you unable to discern what is truly my voice. This confusion did not come from me. It came from the spiritual pressure around you, the warfare happening in the unseen realm. And because your heart has been tired, your ability to recognize my gentle nudges has weakened. I know you've been trying to understand my will, but clarity cannot come to a heart overwhelmed. You have practiced delayed obedience not because you wanted to disobey me, but because you have been unsure, anxious, overwhelmed, and afraid to make the wrong move. There were moments when I whispered direction, yet you hesitated. There were moments when I nudged you to let go of something harmful, yet you held on a bit longer. There were moments when I asked you to step forward, but fear told you to wait. You kept telling yourself, I will obey later, but later kept getting pushed further and further away. You didn't ignore me because you're rebellious. You ignored me because you're wounded. You ignored me because you're tired. You ignored me because life has been too loud, and my voice felt too soft. But my child, delaying obedience is the same as missing protection. You have been running from my voice, not intentionally but emotionally. Every time I called you into stillness, you felt uncomfortable. Every time I asked you to slow down, you felt restless. Every time I drew near to speak, the noise of life pushed me out. You didn't reject me, you were afraid to face the things I wanted to heal. You avoided my presence because you knew that stepping into my light would expose wounds you didn't want to look at. You ran into busyness because quiet moments forced you to confront pain. But my child, running only delays the healing I am trying to give you. You are spiritually tired, not weak, not broken beyond repair, just tired. Tired of fighting invisible battles. Tired of trying to be strong for everyone around you. Tired of questioning your worth. Tired of not knowing what comes next. Tired of feeling disconnected from me. Tired of trying to pray and feeling nothing. Tired of feeling guilty for your spiritual dryness. You stopped noticing my warnings because your heart has been overwhelmed. Your spirit became so drained that your discernment dimmed. You have been surviving, not thriving. Crying inside, not healing. Hoping quietly, not believing boldly. But my child, hear me now. I am not angry with you. I am desperate to save you. I am not disappointed, I am reaching for you. I am not condemning, I am lifting you out. I am not judging your tiredness, I am responding to it with mercy. When a heart is overwhelmed, it cannot hear whispers. That is why I have begun to speak louder. Not out of frustration, but out of love. Not out of rebuke, but out of rescue. I saw you sinking, and I came to pull you up. I saw the numbness deepening, and I came to awaken you. I saw the confusion growing, and I came to clear your mind. I saw the exhaustion breaking you, and I came to restore your strength. I saw the danger approaching, and I came to shield you. You are mine. You belong to me. And because of that, I cannot watch you fall apart and say nothing. I cannot watch you break quietly and pretend you are fine. I cannot watch you drift away from me while the enemy comes closer. I cannot watch you walk toward danger blind. I will always intervene before destruction reaches you. That is who I am as your Savior. That is who I am as your Father. My child, I am here. I am touching the deepest wounds. I am lifting the heaviest weight. I am calming the loudest fears. I am soothing the most chaotic thoughts. I am awakening your spirit again. You may feel tired, but you are not abandoned. You may feel numb, but you are not forgotten. You may feel confused, but you are not lost. You may feel weak, but you are not alone. Come back to me. Lean into me. Let me steady your heart. Let me breathe life into the parts of you that feel empty. Let me restore your strength. Let me fill your silence with my presence. I am here, not to scold you, but to save you. Not to expose you, but to heal you. Not to leave you in your condition, but to raise you out of it. This is your moment of rescue, and I will not let you go. My beloved child, come closer to me now, because I am about to touch the places inside you that you have kept buried for years. I am going to speak into the wounds you hide behind your strength, into the pain you carry behind your silence, into the parts of you that feel too fragile to expose. I do not reveal these places to shame you, but to heal you. I do not call them out to embarrass you, but to release you. I do not shine light on them to judge you, but to lift you out of the darkness they created. You have carried these wounds quietly, thinking they were small, thinking they were manageable, thinking they would fade on their own. But my child, the truth is this. You thought you healed, but some wounds still speak to you at night. And if you ignore me now, these wounds will deepen. You have felt abandoned, not always in ways you could explain, but deep inside, in the secret corners of your heart. There were moments in your life when you reached out and no one reached back. Moments when you cried out and no one noticed. Moments when you needed comfort and received silence. You learned to stop expecting people to stay. You learned to carry your own weight. You learned to survive without leaning on anyone. But the abandonment left a scar, one that still whispers lies. You are alone. No one cares. Everyone leaves. You are not worth the effort. Those lies are not the truth, but they still echo inside your soul. I saw every moment you felt left behind. I was there in the emptiness you felt when people walked away. And I never left you, not for a single breath. You have felt unheard. You have spoken your truth, your pain, your dreams, your needs, but too often your words were dismissed, misunderstood, or minimized. You learned to swallow your feelings because speaking them did not bring comfort. You learned to pretend everything was fine because opening your heart never felt safe. You learned to stay quiet because being vulnerable seemed useless. But inside, you have been screaming. Inside, you have been longing for someone who would truly listen, truly understand, truly see you. My child, I have heard every word you never said. I have heard every prayer you whispered through tears. I have heard every thought you were too afraid to voice. I have never missed a single cry from your heart. You carry guilt for things you said, guilt for things you didn't say, guilt for choices you made, guilt for choices you didn't make, guilt for people you couldn't save, guilt for moments you weren't enough. You punish yourself for mistakes that I forgave long ago. You replay old moments in your mind, judging yourself more harshly than anyone else ever would. But guilt is a heavy chain, and it has wrapped itself around your spirit. My child, you are not meant to live chained to what happened yesterday. I forgave you before you even knew how to ask. I do not hold your past against you. I do not judge you the way you judge yourself. You are forgiven, loved, and redeemed. Let go of the guilt. It is not yours to carry. Type Amen. My prayers are moving heaven if you believe answers are on their way. And